Today we are going to discuss about the analysis of thin and thick cylinders. In generally, the thin and thick cylinders are used to carry the fluid, that may be liquid or gases. Whenever the fluid is carried by a cylinders, certain amount of the pressure is exerted on the cylinders. So before going to use a particular cylinder for a particular purpose, particularly carrying the fluid, we have to analyze the resistance offered by the body to the applied pressure, that is the stress. Now, so suppose if you consider a cylinder, for example, this is a cylinder, alright, this is one cylinder, let us assume. Whenever the fluid is filled with this, simply the pressure force is exerted. Alright, this is the pressure force exerted as shown in figure. So before going to use a particular material in a particular functions, just we have to measure the stresses exerted by or induced. So one is how much amount of the resistance offered by the body or the cylinder along this axis, as well as one more thing, that is the resistance offered by the body, that is the stress induced in this direction. Say this is y. So the second one is radially, simply that is the third one. So before going to discuss expressions for the stress along the axis and perpendicular the axis, and third one is the radially. Suppose when a vessel is subjected to a pressure force, what about the stress induced along this axis called as longitudinal? So this is called as circumferential. The third one is the radial. So simply just we have to calculate the stress induced along the length of the vessel or the cylinder, as well as along the circumferentially and radially. Whatever the stress calculated along the axis caused by the force exerted on the walls, say as called as longitudinal stress. Whatever the stress induced in a particular way, that is the circumferentially, that is called as the circumferential stress. Third one is the radial one. So before going to that, what is meant by thin cylinder and what is the thin cylinder? What is the difference between the thin and thick cylinders? That is the ratio between the thickness of the cylinder and the diameter. I think that the difference of the thick and thin cylinders based on this ratio. If it is less than, that is called as thin. If it is more than that, 1/20, that is called as thick. If it is less than, T by D is less than 1/20, that is the thin. Simply that is the thin. If it is greater than, that is thick. Simply based on the ratio of thickness by diameter of the cylinder, they are classified thin and thick cylinders. Today we will discuss the thin cylinders subjected to internal pressure. Today we will discuss thin cylinders vessel subjected to a internal pressure. So let us, first one is the thin cylinders. Thin cylinders. Very simple. First case, let us see a thin cylinder vessel, thin cylindrical vessel, thin cylindrical vessel subjected to internal pressure. Internal pressure. So very simple. Let us consider a vessel with internal diameter say as and the second one is the external diameter. Graphically that is represented as shown in figure. This is right. Here the thickness is represented with a hatching portion, say as that is T. This is T. Very simple. There is a fluid pressure P. There is a fluid pressure exerted on the walls. So that is P. I think that this is the thickness of the cylinder, that is T. The internal diameter of the cylinder is D. So this can be re-represented. So this is external diameter of the cylinder. This is the external diameter. Again this is the internal diameter. Right? Simply this can be represented. Very simple. So this is T. Right? It is T. It is D. This is the front view. This is the side view. Now let D is equal to diameter and T is equal to thickness and P is equal to pressure exerted on it, where L is equal to length of the cylinder. This is the length of the cylinder. So on account of the internal pressure, the cylinder vessel may fail by splitting up. This is very, very important. What we have to do before going to use a particular cylinder made up of with a particular material, so to carry the fluid, so certain amount of pressure force exerted on the, so these two are in this area. So there is a chance or there is a possibility to fail. What we have to see, simply on account of the internal pressure, the cylindrical vessel may fail by splitting up. So one is along the length. One is along the length. So graphically that may be represented. For example, so whenever this is a cylindrical vessel, for our current let us consider a small one. Alright. So I think that there is a chance to fail due to the applied pressure on the walls of the cylinder. Simply I think that it may fail. It may fail. So this is fail. Am I right or not? So second one is, what about that? So this is, there is a chance to fail in such a way that this is the one possibility. The same cylinder may be failed, so perpendicular to the length, that is called as longitudinally. That is, so next one is simply there is a chance to fail. This is a cylinder, am I right? So there is a chance to fail at any section. At any section. This is the failure portion. This is that may be failed at any section. So it is the failure portion. This is the failure portion. So I think that if you observe the diagram, so it is failed circumferentially due to the pressure force exerted on the surface. This is the failure portion along the length, that is longitudinally. So this is failure along the longitudinally, it is circumferentially. So simply we have to measure how much amount the resistance offered by the body to avoid the failure along circumferentially as well as the longitudinally. This is very, very important one. Then we have to formulate the mathematical equations for determining the stresses induced by the particular material. So it is very, very important one. What we have to say, suppose if you observe the first diagram, this is a cylindrical vessel made up of with this particular material in a particular dimension, say as this is the diameter of the vessel with a particular thickness. Let us see. So this is the thickness. So whenever the pressure or whenever the fluid is carried by this one, certain amount of pressure exerted on the pressure force exerted on the surface. So which tends to fail the this cylindrical vessel circumferentially as well as the longitudinally. So for that, let us see the front and side view of a cylindrical vessel under the fluid pressure of length L. So this is the failure section due to the fluid pressure exerted on the surface. This is the failure portion along the length, simply that is the longitudinally. Just we have to measure the resistance offered by this material due to the failure along the length of the cylinder, and then what about the resistance offered by this material due to the pressure force circumferentially. Whatever the stress induced circumferentially called as circumferential stress, So then second one is the whatever the stress developed, so along the length, that is called as longitudinal stress. So in addition that there is a stress induced radially. So just we have to check all the stresses are classified according to the first one is the circumferential stress, that is also called as hoop stress. This is the longitudinal stress. Second or third one is the radial stress. Then derive the expressions for stress induced circumferentially due to the pressure force, and then derive the expression for the stress induced longitudinally due to the pressure force, and then radially apart from the strains. Now let us derive an expression for circumferential stress. For example, this is a cylinder, right? Cylindrical vessel. So whenever the fluid, right? Whenever the fluid is, so certain amount of force is exerted by the fluid on the area. So whenever it is subjected to a fluid force, simply the cylindrical cell tends to fail circumferentially. It means there is a chance to fail the cylindrical shell along the length of the cell. This is along the length of the cell. Just we have to calculate the stress induced. It means I think that it is always tends to fail the cell circumferentially. It means, so this is a tensile in nature away from the central axis of the cell. How much amount of the resistance offered by the material made up of with this material for a cell, so it should be offer the resistance in such a way that it means, so the fluid pressure always tends to fail the material circumferentially. This is the force exerted. This is the direction of the force exerted by the fluid pressure. So in such a way direction. So for equilibrium condition, equal amount of the force exerted by the material on the force. This is for the force. Simply this is the stress induced in a material. So in which area the stress is induced. I think that, so this is the diameter of the cylindrical shell. So I think that this is the center, this is the length of the cylindrical shell. Am I right? So simply it becomes a thickness. This is the thickness of the cylindrical shell. This is thickness. It would be diameter of the shell. So what we have to understand, always try to understand the stress induced in a particular direction due to the fluid pressure, Am I right? Due to the fluid pressure. So on which area the stress is acting? This is the very, very important point. If you observe the cylindrical cell, this cylindrical cell tends to fail due to the fluid pressure, particularly circumferentially. So the direction of the force exerted on a cylindrical cell in tensile in nature. So for equilibrium condition, the material, the shell should be of the resistance in opposite direction. This is the direction of the resistance offered by the material or the shell for the fluid pressure. This is very, very important one. So the expression for this is also called as the Hooke stress. Let here P is equal to internal pressure, P is equal to internal pressure, alright, and D is equal to internal diameter, and T is equal to thickness of the wall, and let us assume sigma is the circumferential stress or Hooke stress. So just we have to measure. It means this is the direction of the stress, says this is sigma 1. Keep it in mind. So for equilibrium force, I think that in vertical direction, resisting force, that is the resultant vertical pressure force. This is the vertical pressure force. That is the first one. Next one is the resistance offered by the material. That should be equilibrium. So force due to the fluid. First one is, let us calculate the force. First one is force due to fluid pressure. Force due to fluid pressure. So that is equal pressure into area on which pressure is acting. Area on which pressure P is acting. This is very, very important one. Am I right? So what about the pressure? That is equal as P, that is taken. Am I right? On which area it is acting? Very simple. So I think that whenever the fluid is in a cylinder, I think that this pressure force is acting on this particular area. I would like to represent a particular area. Let us see. That is equal. The length of the cell is, so if it is opened, simply it looks like as a 1. This is, I think that D. This is the D. The length is L. On which area the pressure is acting? Simply this is L. So whenever the fluid is carried by the cylinder, that pressure force exerted on a particular area. Simply this is, assume this is a cylinder. So on which area the force is exerted due to the pressure, force due to the fluid pressure is in a particular area, its dimensions becomes D and the length L. That is the area. Say that is D into L. This is the one. Next, force due to the circumferential stress. It means, so this is the force due to the fluid. This is the force due to the fluid. Then we have to find out the force due to the stress. Force due to the stress circumferentially. So force due to the, say this is stress is equal to load by area, that is equal to say as force by area, for example. That is equal to say as, that is force F by area. So just we have to find out this value. I think that this is the force due to the pressure. To avoid the confusion, that is the force due to the pressure. So this is the force due to the stress as S, for example. How much amount of the force exerted by the material due to the stress? This is the second point. So force due to circumferential stress. Force due to circumferential stress. circumferential stress. So simply that is represented by, what about that? That is equal, as we know that from that equation, we know that stress is equal to load by area, as we know that. So that is force. P is equal to stress into area. Simply sigma 1 into area. What about the area? On which area stress induced? Simply if you observe that the stress is induced in a particular area. So this is the area on which stresses are induced for equilibrium condition or to avoid the failure under the action of the fluid pressure. Simply its dimensions let us take. What about the dimension? This is the one T, second one is the T. So this is, you have to take in, this is the L, am I right? Length L. What about the area under the hatching portion? L into T. Again, what about the area under this hatching portion? Again, L into T. So simply it is equal to sigma 1 into L into T plus L into T. That is equal to sigma 1 into 2L into T. This is the force due to the stress. I would like to repeat once again, particularly force due to the fluid pressure, force due to the circumferential stress. Whenever the cylinder carry a fluid, that may be in a liquid or the gases, whatever it may be, certain amount of force is exerted on the cylinder. First point, certain amount of force is exerted on the cylinder, represented by Fe. On which area it is exerted? That is the first point. On which area it is exerted? Very simply, if you observe that, definitely that is exerted in this area. That is exerted in this area, no doubt at all. Right? What about these dimensions? Dimension simply becomes as a D and length L. Very clear. So that is taken as equation number 1. Then, so whenever the force exerted on the cylinder circumferentially, the cylinder must be in a position to offer the resistance to avoid the failure. On which area? So material offers the resistance. This is the area on which the stress induced. It means we know the length of the cylinder and thickness of the cylinder, that is T. So that becomes represented by 2. For equilibrium condition, the force due to the fluid pressure must be equal to force due to the stress also. Therefore, equating 1 and 2. Therefore, P into dl is equal to sigma 1 into 2LT. Simply LL cancel. So what we have to calculate? We have to calculate the stress. So that becomes sigma 1 is equal to PD by 2T. PD by 2T. Say this is the expression for calculating the stress induced in a cylindrical cell subjected to a fluid pressure. Now, expression for longitudinal stress. The bursting will take place if the force due to the pressure, fluid pressure, acting on the ends of the cylinder. For example, this is a cylinder. This is the cylinder. So this is the fluid. Alright? This is the fluid. So whenever the fluid is carried by the cylinder, I think that there is 2 possibilities to fail or bursting takes place. One is circumferentially, that is represented by this figure. Whenever the fluid is carried by a particular cylinder, this is a cylinder. Actually, this is the cylinder with a fluid. So this is the fluid. So whenever the bursting takes place, if force due to pressure, due to the fluid pressure acting circumferentially, So the failure takes place circumferentially. In a particular case, for equilibrium condition, the material should offer the resistance to the failure. Then similarly, whenever the fluid is carried by a cylinder, the bursting takes place if the force due to fluid pressure acting on the ends of a cylinder. Here, so the force is acting ends of the cylinder. So this is the length of the cylinder, for example. So whenever the force due to the fluid pressure acting on the ends of the cylinder, so the bursting takes place along the length. It means this is the failure position. This is the, say this is the end A, this is the end B. For example, this is the end A. At a particular section, say this is at a particular section, the cylinder is bursting. It means the bursting will take place, so in a particular one. So this is bursting position. Then what about the stress developed and what about the stress induced to avoid the failure? So now calculate the stress or the force due to pressure. First one is the force due to pressure. Right? What about the force due to pressure? That is equals force due to longitudinal stress. That must be equal to, so this is the condition. Am I right? Force due to pressure is equal to force due to longitudinal stress. That is very important. So they say that is the force due to pressure. That must be equal to pressure into area on which pressure force P acting. So that is very, very important one. If you observe that on which area, let us say on which area it is acting. So I think that this is the internal diameter of the cylindrical, this is the external diameter of the cylindrical shell. This is, say as, am I right? I think that the force is acting on this one. This is in which area? So simply the force is acting on this area. In this area, it is represented by red color. So this is D. The pressure. Similarly here, in a particular case, the force acting on a particular area, that is the due to the pressure, that is the pressure force acting on each area. This is the area. Similarly here, the force acting on a particular area due to pressure, or the pressure force acting on this area. We know that what about this area? So we know the P, and area is pi by 4 d square, that is equal pi d square by 4. Say equation number 1. Coming to the second one. So force due to stress. Simply I think that is equal stress into area on which stress is acting. Simply, so this is the cylinder, as we know that this is the cylinder with internal and external diameter, as we know that. Simply whenever the fluid in which, so in this area force acting due to pressure, right? Pressure force acting in this area. So whenever it is acting on a particular area, simply this material offers the resistance in a particular region, that is represented by blue color. So in this particular area, resistance offered by the body. So what about that? Simply that becomes, that is equal to sigma 2 into, so simply it looks like as a, in this area stress is induced, in which area the stress is acting. If it is simplified, it would be the 2 pi r or pi d, am I right? So with a thickness T, with a thickness T, this is the T. So this is the one important parameter. What about that area? That is equal to pi d into T, that is pi d into T. Say equation number 2. As per the condition, whatever the force due to pressure acting on a cylinder, so at the ends must be equal to force due to the longitudinal stress. So the force is acting due to pressure is represented by red color portion. This is, and the stress induced by the, or force due to longitudinal stress is represented by the blue color area. So this is the important point. So simply equating equation number 1 and 2, from the equation number 1 and 2, P into pi d square by 4 is equal sigma 2 into pi d into T. Simply cancelled out the d and pi, this is cancelled on, pi is also cancelled out. Therefore, sigma 2 is equal to PD by 4T. This can be rewritten as 1 by 2 into PD by 2T. I think that this is the circumferential stress. Simply the longitudinal stress, that is represented by sigma 2 is equal to half of the circumferential stress. It is very important one. It means the stress induced in a particular cylinder is more longitudinally or double of the circumferential stress. So today we discussed thin and thick cylinders. Initially differentiate the thin and thick cylinders, that is always defined with respect to the ratio of thickness to diameter. If it is less than 1 by 20, that is thin. If it is greater than 1 by 20, that is thick. Today we will discuss the thin cylinders. So whenever the thin cylinder carried out by a fluid, am I right? So the stresses are induced in 3 different directions mutually perpendicular to each other. One is along the length, that is called as longitudinal stress. Second one is the circumferentially, that is called as circumferential stress. And third one is the radially. So it is represented by sigma 1, it is represented by sigma 2. So for that, the bursting will take place in 2 directions, particularly along the length. The second one is the circumferentially. Am I right? Due to the pressure force, fluid pressure acting on the cylindrical area. Initially derive the expression for circumferential stress represented by sigma 1, that is also called as Hooke's stress. So whenever the fluid pressure acting on a cylindrical cell, so circumferentially bursting takes place in a particular position. Just we must know the force acting on a particular area. Then force due to pressure circumferentially must be equal to stress force due to the stress circumferentially. So the fluid force tries to or tends to move the body or deform the body tangentially. That must be balanced by the force due to the stress. Finally, so by equating that, simply that is sigma 1 is equal to PD by 2t, it is derived. Then go for the expression for longitudinal stress. So the bursting takes place due to the fluid pressure acting on it at the ends. So there is a chance to fail at any section. So then whatever the pressure due to the fluid force due to the whatever the force due to the pressure must be equal to force due to the stress longitudinally. Then calculate the force. Say this is for our convenience, this is the due to pressure, this is the force due to the stress. On which area it is acting? Simply the pressure force is acting on a particular area, in this area. Then what about the area? That is equal pi d square by 4. What about the stress or force due to the stress, that is represented by blue color, which is equal to circumference into thickness. Simply it is expanded. It looks like as a rectangle. So that is an area. Finally equating it, it becomes PD by 4T. So therefore, this is the longitudinal stress represented by sigma 2. This is the sigma 1 is represented by circumference stress. The longitudinal stress is equal to half of the circumferential stress. Simply the longitudinal stress is very small than that of the circumferential stress.